Shifting sands, US-Japan sentiment declines. The erosion of positive public opinion presents a critical challenge to strategic alignment. The recent survey data published by the Japan Times regarding declining favorability towards the United States among the Japanese populace warrants immediate strategic attention.
Specifically, the reported decrease in positive sentiment, coinciding with heightened geopolitical tensions and the ongoing influence of figures like Donald Trump, underscores a potentially significant shift in the foundational elements of the US-Japan alliance. This trend is exacerbated by concerns surrounding US foreign policy decisions regarding the Middle East, particularly the ongoing involvement in Iran and the broader implications for global energy security, creating a complex nexus of anxieties within the Japanese public sphere.
Furthermore, the survey's findings demand a rigorous reassessment of the strategic messaging employed by the US government to maintain constructive dialogue and foster continued cooperation, especially considering the heightened sensitivities surrounding the current global political landscape. Ultimately, the sustained decline in perceptions of the United States represents a tangible risk to long-term security interests and requires a proactive nuanced response.
Geopolitical fault lines, contextualizing the decline. A confluence of factors fuels a growing skepticism towards American leadership. The diminishing positive perception of the United States in Japan is not a sudden phenomenon, but rather the culmination of several interwoven geopolitical developments.
Historically, the US-Japan alliance has been predicated upon the security umbrella provided by the United States, particularly following World War II, fostering a degree of implicit trust and reliance. However, recent policy choices, notably Donald Trump's protectionist trade policies and his administration's approach to international alliances, have demonstrably eroded this foundation.
Simultaneously, the ongoing instability in the Middle East, specifically the US's involvement in Iran, has generated significant anxieties within Japan regarding regional security and potential disruptions to critical energy supplies. This situation is further complicated by the broader geopolitical landscape, including increased tensions with China and the reverberations of the war in Ukraine, creating a complex web of strategic vulnerabilities.
The Japanese public increasingly views these developments through the lens of national security concerns, leading to a reassessment of the long-term benefits of maintaining a close alliance with the United States.
Strategic disconnect, analyzing the shifting dynamics. The divergence in strategic priorities demands immediate mitigation efforts. The core of the issue lies in a fundamental divergence of strategic priorities between the US and Japan, increasingly amplified by public sentiment.
The US, driven by a combination of traditional geopolitical interests and a prioritization of domestic political considerations, appears less invested in maintaining the existing levels of security guarantees for Japan. Conversely, Japan, acutely aware of its geographic vulnerability and facing a rapidly evolving security environment dominated by a rise in China and a more assertive Russia, perceives a diminished level of commitment from the US, evidenced by its withdrawal from multilateral institutions and its reluctance to engage in robust deterrent measures.
This misalignment is further compounded by the perception that US foreign policy decisions, particularly regarding Iran and the Middle East, lack clear strategic coherence and fail to adequately address Japan's specific security concerns. Moreover, the influence of figures like Donald Trump has exacerbated these anxieties, fueling a narrative of American disinterest and undermining the credibility of the US as a reliable security partner.
Successfully navigating this dynamic requires a concerted effort to bridge this strategic gap and rebuild trust.
Prognosis and response. Charting a course forward. A proactive, nuanced strategy is crucial for sustained US-Japan alignment. Looking ahead, the continued decline in US-Japan sentiment presents a significant and potentially destabilizing risk to the alliance.
Without a deliberate and sustained effort to address Japanese concerns, the erosion of trust will likely accelerate, leading to a further weakening of the security umbrella and potentially undermining Japan's willingness to engage in collaborative security initiatives. However, the situation is not without opportunity.
A proactive approach focused on demonstrating a genuine commitment to Japan's security interests, including increased military cooperation and a clearer articulation of US strategic priorities in the Middle East and the broader Indo-Pacific region, could begin to rebuild confidence. Furthermore, a sustained dialogue facilitated by trusted intermediaries is crucial to address the underlying anxieties fueling the decline in sentiment.
Ultimately, the strategic next steps must prioritize transparency, mutual understanding, and a willingness to adapt to the evolving geopolitical landscape, recognizing that the future of the US-Japan alliance hinges on successfully navigating this period of profound strategic disconnect.